What it do, what it ain't, what it is your boy, Mr. Wilson. Welcome to a space I like to call the break room. We cover everything from sports, you know, obviously you see who I rep, to a variety of topics. It goes down in the break room. I told y'all that before. It goes down in the break room. It is what it is. And we gonna do what we do. Let's get right into it. So last night, the Steelers lost their fourth game in a row. It feels like longer than that. I mean, to completely just piss away the entire month of December after starting the season 10-3, many believe we could have been undefeated. I mean, we lost to the Cowboys. We lost at the last second. We lost to the Colts, which should have never happened, and we lost to the Browns in Cleveland. Just completely unfocused. Like, there's no reason why we couldn't have been undefeated up until that point, but we were 10-3. And then over the course of the remainder of the year, I mean, just spiraled out of control, man. There's really no explanation for it. There is going to be a group of people to make excuses, and I'm not one of those people. In fact, I built this channel on holding people accountable, what I'm saying, for things that they said about Pittsburgh. And at the time, they weren't true. But unfortunately, as I sit here, January 5th, 2025, the Pittsburgh Steelers are
frauds. Frauds! The Pittsburgh Steelers are frauds!
frauds. Got everybody's hopes up. Got everybody's hopes up. We was on a high. We was talking Super Bowl. We was talking AFC Championship. We was talking all kind of stuff. And yeah, man, them boys went out and just laid egg after egg after egg. And
okay, we are cooked. Yeah, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
I ain't gonna hold you. Just straight up, Tomlin's done. Mike Tomlin is done. Pittsburgh is cooked. Mike Tomlin is done. And I hate to be that guy because for so long I was one of the people, saying, but he don't have this, but he don't have that. Literally making excuses for the lack of productivity. But there is nothing that anyone can say that can even begin to formulate how we just gave the division to the Ravens. We gave it to them. All due respect, much love, much respect, but we gave Baltimore the division. We had a two-game lead. And we just gave it to them. They did what they were supposed to do. And this is why I said from the very beginning, some of my first videos, I was like, hey, man, Baltimore is never out of it. You know what I'm saying? They are always going to be in the mix. They are always going to be just around, just waiting to take lunch money in the hallway and They did just that. They did just that. Mike Tomlin's done. And for those people still saying, but winning record, look, man, I was in Buffalo saying the same thing, right? Last year. I said, man, the winning records, because we went to Buffalo for the playoff game in January. I said, winning records are nice. Like, we're not going to sit here and be like, it's not nice. It's nice. It's nice knowing that when you go down to the stadium or when you watch the team on TV, that there's a high probability, or there's even a slight probability that they're going to win, or even just put up a fighter's chance. You know what I'm saying? We got a chance to win this game. It's nice to know that. However, when you do that for so long, you just end up in like this twilight zone. And I feel like that's where the Steelers are right now. Like we've had so many non-losing seasons. We miss out on phenomenal talent. We miss out on phenomenal draft picks. We miss out on franchise players. And it's not that I want them to like go out there and tank. I don't want that. But there comes a time when it's like, okay, are we doing ourselves any favors here? Largely, when it comes to the draft picks, man, we know the needs. Our offensive line, man, I don't know what's wrong with them dudes. Like, everybody wants to blame Russ, but we got to start with the offensive line. And before I get into that, I'm gonna go back to what I said about Mike Tomlin. People are, oh no, you can't say that. Mike Tomlin has winning records, man. If y'all look go at Mike Tomlin, somebody will pick him up in a heartbeat. Cool. Great. That's cool. Because sometimes what we do know is sometimes you just need a fresh start. Whether it's football, whether it's with old girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just need a fresh start. And I think Pittsburgh just needs a fresh start. My opinion of it is, Andy Reid was let go from Philly when they was getting championship games, when they were getting to Super Bowls. They just wasn't winning it. If he's expendable, how is Mike Tomlin not expendable? He moved on. He went to Kansas City. Kansas City has a whole dynasty. Post-Philly. Were the Eagles wrong? Nah, I don't know if they was wrong, because if you're not getting a product that you're satisfied with, hey, man, you got to move on. Unfortunately, Mike Tomlin has a position where it's based largely upon what have you done lately. And unfortunately, this playoff record is not doing him any favors. We don't care about the regular season. If we're going to be 3-8 in the postseason, 3-9 in the postseason in the last whatever years, 10 years, 12 years, man, fuck the regular season, because it's not helping us. Because the postseason is showing our true position, where we really are. The postseason shows that. If we getting smacked by the Jaguars, I mean, we could just run down the list of Jaguars, Dolphins, like just horrible losses, man. Like, hey, man, it is what it is. We're not that team. But all hope is not lost, because we do have pieces. But unfortunately, they have up until this point wasted TJ Watt's career, wasted Cam Hayward's career, and even Minka Fitzpatrick's career. Like, I wanted to win so badly for them. You know what I'm saying? To see them, had that confetti rain down on them. I wanted to see that largely for them, but hey, bro, that's not happening. Not right now. Not with this regime. Not with none of this shit. Changes got to be made. Mike Tomlin told, oh yeah, hell yeah, change is going to happen. Man, ain't shit changed, bro. Shit did not change. The same predictable play calling. Anybody notice that on the first and second downs, they was handing the ball off every time? Man, they did that like the whole game. The whole game. The whole game. First down, handoff. Second down, handoff. You know, and whether the run was good or bad, it seemed to be that was what they were sticking with. And it's like, bro, you got to mix that shit up. After you have a good run, bro, hit them with the play action. Something. Switch it up. Y'all got to forgive me for not posting anything. Part of the reason I didn't post, because I didn't want to be just super negative. So I just kind of kept my thoughts to myself. But another reason I didn't post was because I was sick. I'm just getting over the flu. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I've been fighting it for a while. Ever since Philly, really. I've been fighting it. And you know, but I'm starting to pull out on the other side of that thing. So I'm starting to feel a little better. So but I just didn't want to be super negative. You know, we already knew this was the toughest part of the schedule. But I kind of just wanted to see what the guys did before I kind of just formulated a thought, such as what I'm saying today, that we're done. Move on. Mike Tomlin had a good run. Depending on who you talk to, Bill Cowher probably would have had 3 titles. Mike Tomlin wouldn't even have been in Pittsburgh, because the one that Mike got and the one in Green Bay, you know, I feel like we got out coached to a certain degree, but Rashad Mendenhall fumbled the ball. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happened on that game-winning drive that I'm pissed off about, and I'm even more pissed off about Rashad Mendenhall retiring because his heart was no longer in it. Man, get the fuck out of here with that, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, we're done. We're done. This season is done. You know, whether we get the Texans and whether, you know, we actually beat them and get to go to Baltimore or whatever, that's to be seen or whatever. But I mean, even if we go straight to Baltimore and we beat Baltimore, I'll take the win. But I'm not gonna celebrate like, oh yeah, we ruined Baltimore's year, because honestly, we gotta see them again next year, 2 times a year. And if we don't get our stuff together, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta take care of home first, man. Before we worry about anybody else, we gotta take care of the stuff in our house. And right now, I feel like Tomlin is, I don't want to say he's outdated, and his thought processes for calling a game are outdated. Like, the league has changed drastically, but they're just outdated. Like, we can't go in there expecting to hold a team to 9 points. Y'all got to put an offense together, bruh. Like, you know, that's just number one. Offensive coordinator is calling predictable stuff. I was watching the game with my girl, and then my job called me like, "Hey, you want some overtime?" I was like, "Hell yeah! I'll gladly turn this shit off." You know, even though I kept watching it on the way to work and even at work. You know what I'm saying, for the first little part there. She was like, "How you know they's gonna call that?" I said, "Because they've been doing it the whole game. They've been doing it the last couple weeks. It's just they doing the same stuff." You know, defensive coordinator Terrell Austin. Hey, bro, man, Pittsburgh chose wrong. They should have kept Brian Flores. You see what the Vikings are doing? We had Brian Flores, and I've had conversations, like with my supervisor. Well, my supervisor just retired. He's from Katanning, PA. And me and him, we used to sit down Mondays, you know, like, and just talk. You know, like last like 3 years or whatever. We used to sit down in his office and just talk football. And well, talk Steelers mainly, because he's Steelers fan too. And you know, his family has had season tickets to the Steelers since Forbes Field. You know, I remember he was like, man, so even like Three Rivers, they had season tickets at Three Rivers. When Three Rivers was getting about to get demolished, his family got their seats Like their seats in Three Rivers are in their backyard. They went to Three Rivers and took them out and took them home before they demolished the stadium. So I mean, you know, me and my man K used to have crazy conversations. And one thing we talked about a lot was, and I was holding it down for Tomlin for the longest. He was like, "Hey man, just go check it out. I ain't telling you how to feel, but this is what I see." And for the longest, he talked about Tomlin's coach tree. And you know, and I agree largely. Like, where is Tomlin's coach tree? Who came from his coaching tree that is a head coach or anything of that caliber that has a team humming right now? You won't find it. His coaching tree is like piss in the dating pool. That's his coaching tree. And it almost seems as if he's worried about competition. You know, he don't want somebody to shine too much. Then, you know what I'm saying? But man, bro, forget all that. Like, I don't care about nobody outshining you. At this point, you've been in Pittsburgh 18 years. They gave you an extension when you really didn't deserve it. You can't worry about nobody outshining you. Let's win some games, bro. Like, come on now. Brian Flores should have never left Pittsburgh. And from my understanding, he wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. You know, my supervisor K, to back this up, we talked a lot. When I tell you we talked a lot. And one thing he said was, he talked about Chuck Noll. And he said, we knew when it was time to move on for Chuck Noll. Like, he was like, you would see him on the sideline and he would just be emotionless. You know what I'm saying? It was like really no reaction to what was going on. He was just there. And what did we see yesterday? What did we see these last couple weeks? Mike Tomlin's just there. And no one wants to admit this. Nobody wants to say it. You know, I equate a lot of sports to life, right? I'll never forget when I was getting ready to go through a separation / divorce. I had people tell me, man, ain't nothing out here for you, blah, blah, this, that, and the third. Not only did I walk away from that situation better, just happier, more peace of mind, that sort of thing, but I got something exponentially better than what I had. So miss me with that, oh, ain't nothing else out here. Fuck all that. I think that's a negative way of thinking, because if you know something is not serving you, you have to move on. You have to move on. That person that was supposed to be so good for me, you know, because I bought the jerseys for her really quick. I bought the jerseys for her. And I hit her. I said, hey, yo, you still got the Le'Veon and the Juju jersey? I was like, did you still want it? You know, because I know how girls be like, oh, this is my team when you with somebody, but when you move on, that ain't your team no more. You were just supporting them because your significant other or whoever you was with liked them. And she like, oh, I got rid of that a long time ago. I gave it away at Salvation Army in a bulk giveaway. But that was the person that was for me. We will move on. We will be fine. Philly did it. Chip Kelly went through Philly and absolutely destroyed Philly single-handedly. And now they got Sirianni. And was there somebody else? No, I don't think there was somebody else in between there. But they got Sirianni now. They won a Super Bowl since Andy Reid left. And so, hey, man, move on. If something is not serving you, move on. Stop worrying about the negatives. Move on. Because while you worried about the negatives, life is still lifing. You got to move on. You have to. You have to. If not, hey, life is going to pass you up. And then you were like, damn, what happened? And all them people telling you, oh, man, you'll never find nothing better. they probably won't even be in your life. So if somebody wants, Mike Tomlin, they can have him. Don't be one of those jealous exes where if I can't have you, no one can have you. Fuck that. Go. We got to move on, man. Andy Reid's doing better. The city, Philadelphia Eagles are doing better. After Chuck Noll, we got Coach Cowher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you there were old heads like, nah, man, but it's Chuck. But it's Chuck. I guarantee you there were. But there were people that saw it's time to move on. I further that statement by, did the Patriots even give Belichick 4 years after Brady left? It might have been like right at 4 years. Think about who Bill Belichick is for the New England Patriots. They got him up out of there without consideration. There was no second guessing that decision. It was like, all right, this is what it is. We're moving on. So what makes Tomlin so indispensable? Like why is Mike Tomlin just locked in no matter what? I bet you can't tell me.
Answer my question!
I bet you don't even have a legit reason. It's time to move on, man. It's time to move on. Terrell Austin is terrible. His schemes are terrible. I saw a play. Not only were they playing this zone shit again, but in the beginning of the game, why was Corey Trice backpedal? It was like third and 4, third and 5. It probably wasn't even that much. Corey Trice was backpedaling. He stepped up like he was on a press chase. And then he backpedaled like 10 yards away from him, essentially just giving him the first down. And then he barely made the tackle. Bro, what the fuck was that? What are we doing? What was that, bro? No way. There's no way that they can consider that winning football. All this bend but don't break shit, everybody jumping up. Oh, fourth down. Okay, it's 4th and 1. They going for it, and then they got it. Then now what? They've been doing this for a long time. Like, since Dick LeBeau has left, man, this defense has not been it's like we've gone through coordinator after coordinator, man, and it's just like nothing's working out. Like, I miss Dick LeBeau, man. I mean, and then he went to Tennessee, and he had Tennessee looking decent, but I miss Dick LeBeau, man. Nothing, I don't understand how we go from having a top 3 defense, having the best special teams in the league, to having, Russell Wilson being in the conversation for comeback player of the year, having Mike Tomlin in the conversation for coach of the year. In the span of 5 to 6 weeks, it just evaporated like it never existed, like it never happened. I don't know, man. I don't know, y'all. But I will leave room to be surprised. But right now, how I feel the season's done. It's done. Like I said, even if we get a playoff win, it's almost like, oh, we got a playoff win. Oh, we got a winning season. So what? What does a playoff win change? It doesn't change anything. It just pushes us further away in the draft from getting that top tier talent. And not to say that if you play the draft, you will be successful, because you could look at teams like the Browns, you could look at teams like the Giants, you could look at teams like the Jaguars. I mean, you can just keep naming teams, the Cardinals. You can keep naming teams, and it's not like just because you have a draft pick, a high draft pick, consistently have a high draft pick, that doesn't really necessarily mean it will do anything. However, there are examples where if you draft good, You might have an off year. I believe when the Ravens got Lamar, I believe they was coming off of a losing season. I believe they went. They was 7-9 that year. I want to say before they got Lamar, or they had a losing season somewhere in the mix, and that's when they got Lamar. I mean, but they draft well too, though. With all due respect, they draft well too. But not to say you got to have a losing season every year. But I'm just saying, like, it's okay to have one losing season, man. If it means it allows you to be in a better position to draft, to go with the pieces you already have, man, I'm all for it. Because this ain't it, man. This is not it. And I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. The season theoretically is not over, but after watching what we've watched over the last month, it's not necessarily something that you get up and get excited about. It's just not. That's not the brand of football that we all love to watch. It's just not. It's just not. And there could be somebody to debate, hey, the defense did their job yesterday. They held that offense to 19 points. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this. It wasn't all on Russ. The only mistake Russ made yesterday, he missed a couple passes. But quarterbacks miss passes. Guys miss passes. Let's not act like, even good quarterbacks miss passes. That's what they go back on the sideline looking at that tablet for. Oh, man, we had this look. We had this guy open here. That was your shot right there. That was the play right there. And so you'll see some teams, they'll go a quarter, they'll go 2 quarters, and then they'll circle back to that play. They might change up the way it looks a little bit, but they'll circle back to that play, and boom, that's the play that'll win the game. Making adjustments, making in-game adjustments. Like, what y'all looking at the tablet so hard for? If you ain't gonna make no adjustments. But they held that offense to 19 points. Russ, that bonehead play where he didn't throw it away. At least we can say he didn't fumble the ball. Last couple of weeks he's been fumbling the ball like every week. He's been fumbling the ball like every week. So I guess he held onto the ball. I guess that's a positive. He didn't lose the ball. We still had even though we lost 20 seconds on the clock, we still had 20 seconds to win the game. And it's just a damn shame. We got Boswell on the sideline warming up. He didn't get an opportunity to kick. He's had a phenomenal season. He's had an amazing season. Most points scored by a player, a kicker. He's had a phenomenal season. And we're wasting his career too. Offensive line playing like bad news bears. This is what the offensive line is playing terrible, man. I don't. What was the offensive line coach? Munchak? Was it Munchak? I forgot. But our offensive line is trash. We need an offensive line coach. At this point, it's not just Fautano not being there. It's more than just one person. Our offensive line is bad. It's bad. And to Russ's defense, if he had an offensive line, if he just had a little bit more time for a couple plays to develop here and there, we could take some shots. We could take those shots he liked to take. But he don't have time to even go through any kind of reads. He making 1-2 reads max. That's it. And he's holding on. And we're at the game yelling, throw it away. After 2 seconds, get rid of it. You can see it. If you're looking at these tablets after every freaking series, you see you don't have no time. Why are you holding on to the ball? Why are we not utilizing the middle of the field? But ironically, the last play of the game, and Move had a great game, but he dropped the pass. He dropped the pass that would have gotten us that much closer to field goal range. Ironically, That play is over the middle. Like, we don't utilize the middle of the field for the large majority of the game, but at the end of the game, when it's not looking good, guess where they go? To the middle of the field. And it's just like things that make you want to bang your head through a cement wall.
So I felt a strong sense of missing.
But you cried.
There were tears that ran down my face, but I did not cry.
I mean, that's crying.
I would disagree.
Man, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Like, it's nothing to really sugarcoat. It's just bad. And it's like, where do you even draft? Like, what's the need? Because we thought we had a wide receiver 1 in George Pickens. I think they deal the fuck out of him. I think they get him up out of Pittsburgh. Ideally, because I love these guys so much, you deal TJ for pieces, you deal Cam for pieces or picks. You deal TJ and Cam for picks. You deal Minka for picks. George Pickens, you might not get much because he's known to be a troublemaker, but you deal him for picks. And you go into the, I mean, and I'm saying all this, but none of it matters if Mike Tomlin's still there. If they get rid of Mike Tomlin, deal anything worth dealing that has value. We're gonna have a yard sale, and we're gonna get rid of everybody. Clean house, clean house, clean house, and start fresh. Because staying in the middle of the pack is not doing nothing. We've been playing this same game since the Killer Bees. Since the Killer Bees. Since we lost that game to Green Bay, they've been fighting to get back to the Super Bowl. And we just been middle of the pack most of the time. Most of the time. There was a couple years where we had a shot. We really had a shot. With a bad defense, mind you. With a bad defense, we had a shot. But outside of those couple years, and I'm talking outside of 2013, 2014 type thing, I want to say that's correct. It was a couple years where the Killer Bees would just lighten everybody up, and we had good seasons, and we just had a bad defense. We had injuries, you know what I'm saying? That when Reggie Nelson took out Le'Veon's knee before the playoffs, I really feel like that was a good year for us. And then, I tell people, man, the Bengals leave a bad taste in my mouth, just like I'm sure we leave a bad taste in their mouth in terms of Carson Palmer. But, Vontaze Burfict, for the league to say they care about player safety, it's impossible. It's impossible to make that statement and allow an animal such as Vontaze Burfict run around hurting people on purpose. Hip drop tackles, all that shit was going on. Now they don't want to have. Now you can't breathe on an offensive player. Meanwhile, they was taking out our franchise player. Le'Veon got taken out on a post. He ran a post route across the middle of the field, caught it. Reggie Nelson took his knee out. Bah! Like it was nothing. The first time we played the Bengals, and then we went in the playoffs and we flamed out because we ain't had no Le'Veon. Next season, the first time we played them jokers, Vontaze Burfict, hip drop Le'Veon, took him out again, took out his other ACL. Bah! Gone. Just like that. I think those were the 2 years we had. And we might have had like one more year in there where we really had a chance to make some noise. But then, you named it, here come the Bengals. Took out AB. Because I want to say that same year, I think that same year that Broncos won. And we lost to the Broncos in Denver. But we almost won that game. Because I want to say Martavius Bryant had a good game that year, that game. But we almost won that game. So I think those are the only years we had like legit shots. It just wasn't in the cards, man. Couldn't stay healthy. Couldn't stay healthy. You know, losing Antonio before we had to go to Denver. And Denver had, you know, a great run defense that year. And yeah, it was a tall order. You know, it just wasn't in the cards, y'all. And so, you know, Mike Tomlin on paper, his resume is impeccable. Good for him. I'm happy for him. You know, I appreciate the memories. I appreciate the Tomlinisms. But unfortunately, that's not enough. It's just not enough. You know, Kendrick Lamar said it's not enough. Couple winning seasons left, but it's not enough. I'm over it. I'm over it. Because the playoff record supersedes that regular season record, and it completely washes whatever momentum people were trying to build with that whole winning season thing. It washes it out completely. So, but yeah, man, that's what I got today. You know, let me know how you feel. You know, if you made it this far, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that notifications button, you know, and leave a comment. You know, let me know how you feel about this. You know what I'm saying? Do you truly feel like it's time to move on from Mike Tomlin? Because, you know, yes, we are having winning seasons, but do they matter if we're not doing anything in the postseason? Or are we just being impatient? Because it's been like 18 seasons, and although he has one Super Bowl championship, that was in the very beginning. And so really it's been like 15 seasons of just, you know, winning seasons. That's about it. You know, we win a couple crucial games here and there. You know, we win against high quality teams we probably shouldn't have won against. But then we turn around and lose to teams we had no business losing to. So y'all let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Am I off on this? What are your thoughts? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, congrats to all the winners. Congrats to all the division title winners. You know, either way, the playoffs are going to be interesting. And then, you know what I'm saying, we're going to move on to basketball season or something else, you know. But, yeah, man, y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. And I'm going to holler at you on the next break. Peace.